Hey everybody, Mike here at MH Tutorials. Welcome back. Well guys, a while back, actually I think last year, I did a video on how to model a barrel. And that was one of my few videos without audio. And I got the question, can you do it again, but this time with audio? So that's what we're going to do today, all right? Okay, we're going to start with one of the side slats for the barrel. So we're going to take a polygon cube. We're going to drag that out. We're going to give that a little bit of height, not too much. Keep it nice and thin, all right? And then we're going to right click, go to edge, select these two edges, actually select all four of them, and we're just going to hit R, and we're going to bring that in. Okay, so you want a slope here, here, and also you want the sides to come in just a little bit, so we'll just do that. Okay, and then we'll go to object mode, and we're just going to push it down to make it a bit thinner. Okay. Now, this needs to bend, so in order to bend something in Maya, you need to have enough subdivision to do that. Just make that a little bit thinner. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool option box, multiple edge loops, we'll do 10, and we're going to add them right there, and hit Q on your keyboard. Okay, so that's slat number one. We're going to right click at Object Mode, we're going to hit E, let's rotate that up to -90. There we go. And now we're going to create a bend deformer. Okay. So we're going to go to our animation tab. We're going to go to create deformers, nonlinear, and bend. And you can see our bend handle is horizontal and we want that to be vertical. So we're going to pull that up. And again, make sure it's straight up, so -180. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the right direction right now, because if we go to our bend handle and we now curve that, you can see that it's moving sideways, and we don't want that. Okay, so we're going to rotate it again in this direction. Just check that. So this is now at 90. Now let's give it another try. That's better. Okay, so that's the curvature that we're looking for. Now, don't go nuts on that. Don't do that, right? That's not a barrel. Try to keep it something like so. All right, not bad. Now, in order to have this object keep that shape, we're going to delete the history. So we're going to drag select it, edit, delete by type, history, which will remove our bend handle. And we're going to go to modify freeze transformations. Okay. So now that we got that, we're going to copy this. So we're going to hit Control D to copy and W to move over. Now we want this to be very close, but we still want to be able to see that they are individual sections. Okay. So we're going to bring it in, and you can just barely see a little opening between the two. All right. And then we're going to hit Shift D to copy that. And we'll do about, let's say 12. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That looks about right. Okay. Now the next step is to take all of these components and wrap them around into a barrel. So we're going to drag select them. We're going to go to our polygon menu, mesh and combine, modify center pivot. There we go. And we're going to create a new bend deformer. So again, animation tab, create deformer, nonlinear and bend. And again, our bend handle needs to rotate. So we're going to hit E. We're going to rotate that down to -90. And let's see if it's now in the right direction. And it is not, as you can see. All right. So we're going to hit Control Z. And we're going to rotate it in that direction. So -90. And now, if we take our bend handle, we can wrap it around 180 degrees, And we have our initial shape. As you can see, it's a bit high up, but we'll fix that. So that's good. We're going to drag select it, edit, delete by type, history, modify freeze transformation, and modify center pivot. All right, we're going to hit R on our keyboard, and we're going to scale it down to something that is more proportionate to a barrel. And that is starting to look a little bit more like a barrel. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to take our object, okay, and let's move that guy from the top view. We'll hit W to move. And let's just snap that to the center, okay? And you can snap that by just holding down the X on your keyboard. This will turn into a little circle, and it will just snap, okay? There we go. All right, so when you're okay with the height, we now need to deal with the lid of the barrel, okay? And we want to create that by making individual boards, so not just a simple circle. That would look a bit off. So we're going to take a polygon cube, give that a little bit of height, not too much, and let's set our translate values to 0. And that's going to center it in the middle. So now we can pull it up. And then from our top view, we'll hit 4 for wireframe mode. Let's see if that's going to work for us. Okay, so we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Let's move that over. And again, just keep a little bit of space open. We're going to right click our vertex. Take these vertices, hit R, and push them in to about there. And probably these are still okay, but we'll see. And then we're going to right click at object mode, hit Control D once again, move that over to about there. Right click vertex, drag select them all, hit R and push that in until you're pretty much aligned on the right hand side. And then take these two and move that in, and hit W and move it into about there. Now it's always tricky from this view, so we're just going to move into our barrel and see how that looks, whether it's sticking out anywhere, and it doesn't seem to be the case, which is okay. So then we're going to right click object mode. We're going to take these two. Let's go to our polygon menu, mesh, combine, modify center pivot, Control D to duplicate, pull that over, Control Z because it didn't duplicate for some reason. Try it again, Control D, now it did. Okay, and we're going to hit E and we're going to flip that over to 180 and hit W and bring that in. Let's just check on the outside to make sure it's not sticking out anywhere. Doesn't seem to be the case, so we're going to select the rest of them. Mesh, combine, Control D to duplicate, and we're going to bring that down to the bottom. Raise it up a little bit so it's inside of our barrel. A bit more. There we go. And again, check that it's not sticking out anywhere. All right. So we got that. Now, normally you're going to have a plug in the top of the barrel. Not always, but some cases. So we'll take a polygon cylinder, pull that up, F to zoom in. We're going to right click at our vertex, drag select the top, and hit R and just flare that out a little bit, like so. Right click object mode, set your translate values to 0 so it's centered. we're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can see what's going on. And our plug is in here. We're going to hit W, we're going to bring that up. 5 for shaded mode. And let's scale that thing down to size. Hit R, F to zoom in, W to pull down. And let's move that to, let's say, right there. Maybe make it slightly bigger, but that's about it. Okay. Just going to take the whole thing, hit W, move it up a little bit. Okay. And now we need to create some straps, I think they're called, I'm not sure. So for that, we'll take a polygon pipe. We're going to pull that up. And in object mode, we're going to go to polypipe 1. And we're going to decrease the thickness to, let's do 0.5. That looks about right. And we'll do 30 subdivisions. Okay. We're going to set our translate values to 0. So now we can start to scale that in. F to zoom in. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. So we're going to pull that up. We're going to check it from this view because we want this to pretty much be level with the ground here. And now we're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode. 4 for wireframe mode, there we go. And we're going to right click on top, go to face, and I just want these faces here. So let's see, right click object mode. This is the guy I want. No, that one, yeah. Right click face. Okay, so we're going to click and double click on that top edge, and we're going to hit R, and we're going to scale that out. And I'll just hit 5 so we can see that a bit better. There we go. And as you can see, the top is out a little bit too much. So I'll bring that back in to about there. And then we need to flare the bottom out a little bit as well. All right. That's not bad. All right. Now the tricky thing is, if you look at the top here, if you extrude this too much, and I'll show you what I mean, it won't be touching the slats, but you will see that there's kind of a gap here. So try to find a balance between the two. And in reality, sometimes you see that these iron straps are kind of, I think it's called, well, pulled into the wood, if you know what I mean. Okay. So that's that. We're going to repeat that on top. Just make sure that this is not too high. So let's actually just right click face, hit W, pull that down, which will allow us to scale it in a bit more. I just want to make sure that I only have the faces. Okay, pull it down a little bit, scale it in a little. That's going to have to do. All right, right click object mode, Control D to duplicate, W to move up. Try that again, Control D to duplicate. Let's see if it duplicated or not. Actually, it duplicated twice. So get rid of that one. All right, we're going to hit E. We're going to flip that one over to 180. and then we're going to hit W, and we're going to bring that down. And theoretically speaking, that should be a fit. All right, not bad. And now we need to have two of these guys for the center section as well. So we're going to take that one, hit Control D to duplicate, bring it down to about here. I'll hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can see what's going on. Okay, we're going to scale that guy out until we feel that the bottom section is roughly where it needs to be. And then we're going to right click at a face, and then we get that problem again. We'll try it here, object mode, face, there we go. And let's scale that out a little bit. I'm going to hit 5 on my keyboard. Okay, and now we're going to go to object mode and pull that in. Okay, now that one can be slightly narrower. Is that English? No idea. That looks about right. Okay, so we got that one. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate that, W to move that down. We're going to hit E, we're going to flip it over once again to 360. And we're going to take that and bring that up. From this view, we're going to hit 5, and let's see whether that looks a bit symmetrical or not. Okay, now that's our basic barrel. Now let's texture this guy. All right, I'm going to take one of these straps here, right click, assign new material. I'm going to go with a Lambert, and I'm going to hit my checkered box. I'm going to select a file, and in my folder, let's see what we got here. Let's see, I got, should have some texture files for that, steel texture, there we go. We're going to use that for the straps, all right. I'm going to hit this checkered ball guy here. I'm going to select my object, create UVs, and we're going to go with cylindrical mapping. Okay, now that's been created, nice scratches and so forth. Just going to check it to be sure. So object mode, edit UVs, UV texture editor. Okay, we're going to right click, go to UV, drag select the entire selection, hit R, and we're going to push that in until it's fitting inside our 0 to 1 UV space. Hit W, bring it in just a little. Okay, all right, good. I'm going to do the same here. So object mode, assign existing material, that will be our Lambert 2. Create UVs, cylindrical mapping, edit UVs, UV texture editor, right click UV, drag select, and I'll speed that up because we're just repeating that process. Okay, that one, object mode, assign existing material, Lambert 2, create UVs, cylindrical mapping, edit UVs, UV texture editor, right click UV, drag select, hit R, bring that in, and move it into the 0 to 1 space. And the one on the bottom, object mode, assign existing material, Lambert 2, create UVs, cylindrical mapping, edit UVs, UV texture editor, right click UVs, drag select, hit R, pull that in, and hit W and move that in. All right, so these are the straps. Now let's focus on the boards on top here. Okay, so let's take object mode. Let's separate the mesh. So mesh separate, because I don't want the wood patterns to be identical on all the boards. It's not going to look realistic. And here we have a little issue as well we need to attend to. As you can see, we got this dividing line going on here. Okay, we'll sort that out in a sec. Okay, so board number one, assign new material, Lambert, checkered box, file, folder. Let's see, what do I have? Let's see, wood texture. All right. Now we're just gonna see what's going on with that guy. I'm gonna create, let's do planar map, see if that works. Not bad per se. We'll just check that out. Edit UVs, UV texture editor. Okay, that's a fairly basic shape and it's aligned okay. I just want to rotate that to see if that looks any better, and actually it does. Okay, so I'm going to hit W, I'm going to move that in, and maybe just hit R and scale that down just a little bit. Okay, that doesn't look bad. All right, this guy, object mode. All right, right click, assign new material. Actually, sorry, assign existing material, Lambert 4. Just check, guys. This guy was Lambert 3, so existing material Lambert 3. There we go. Okay. Create UVs. We're going to do planar mapping once again. Edit UVs, UV texture editor. And again, I'm going to rotate that. And we're going to move it over just a little. And hopefully it's not going to be, it's not 100% identical, but still it looks too similar. You see this little white line in the middle here, and it's a repetition of this one. So what I'm going to do is right click UV, drag select, and I'm going to rotate it all the way around. So now it's kind of the same pattern, but reversed. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to do these 3 boards and the boards down here, so you guys don't have to wait for that, and then I'll see you guys in a sec, okay? Okay guys, so we have the boards textured, both sides, and they're somewhat different, as you can see, which is kind of good. Now let's deal with these straps here. Okay, so I'm going to select one of these straps. I'm going to go to my Lambert 2 material in this case, okay? And I'm going to hit the checkered box next to my color, which will give me the file and the place texture tab. I'm going to go to the place texture tab, and let's see if we can repeat the UVs. And let's see if that gives us any difference. Not in this area, so we're going to try it at this side. Okay. Now that's somewhat better, but we want to have a kind of rotation, so we don't necessarily see that line so much. Let's see if we can do that. Okay. So there's still an effect going on in our strand here, but it's no longer this straight line, okay? So I think that looks a bit better. And now let's deal with these. Let's deal with the cap first, right? This guy, okay. Right click, assign new material. Let's do another Lambert, checkered box, file, and let's select, I think I have wood end, yeah, there we go. Okay, and we're just gonna zoom in on that guy. We're gonna go to create UVs and we'll do automatic mapping. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it's not bad. Actually, not bad at all. Edit UVs, UV texture editor. Yeah, that's all positioned correctly. So I'll leave that as is. And now let's focus on these boards here, or these slats, okay? Mesh, separate. We'll take one of these guys, right click, assign new material, Lambert, checkered box, file, folder, and where is my wood? Wood texture, there we go. Okay, now as you can see, that's all scattered. We don't want that. So I'm going to select it. Let's try planar mapping. It's not necessarily a sphere, so that in itself doesn't look too bad. But again, we don't want to have a repetition of the same pattern constantly. Just going to check that. So this is our Lambert 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these guys. Right click, assign existing material Lambert 6. Okay, and now we have some tweaking to do, as you can see. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll actually, not this guy, we'll reselect these. Including that one for some reason. There we go, yeah. And we're going to go to create UVs and we'll do planar mapping. And this guy didn't get any material for some reason. Okay, now as you can see, we've got some work to do. All right, and we're going to go around and around and around. Okay, take this one. Edit UVs, UV texture editor. Okay, let's see. Planar mapping. And I'm not going to fiddle around with it if it looks okay. So it's kind of warped here, but it doesn't necessarily look stretched. So object mode, automatic mapping. That one we're going to rotate. Okay, so it's all positioned. Right click UV. It's all positioned. You can see the sides and the front and so forth. Let's just rotate that. Hit W, bring that in. And we'll bring that down. Okay, not bad. And things like this, you want to avoid that, right? Okay, so object mode on that one, create UVs, planar mapping. That one will right click, go to UV, drag select. And again, it's now rotated and you can see that the wood line looks quite different right now, which is good. And I think we got 2 more to go. So right click object mode, create UVs, planar mapping. And I want to rotate that one to, yeah, looks fine. And this one, create UVs, planar mapping. Okay, now minimize that. Right click object mode, and let's see what we got here so far. Okay, we still got some work to do. Not quite there yet. Planar mapping, edit UV texture editor. So it's curving in a different direction, but I'm actually going to manually rotate this one a little bit. Scale it down just a little. Okay, and then we got this object mode, create UVs, planar mapping, and again, let's rotate that in that direction. I mean, one board like that is not bad. It kind of gives some realism to it. Take that one, create UVs, planar mapping, right click UV, drag select, and we're going to hit E, and we're going to rotate that. All right, right click object mode. Okay, let's set that up for render. Let's create a ground plane, and we're going to stretch that out quite a bit. Let's zoom in. We'll do right click object mode for a ground plane, assign new material. Let's do Phong E, and let's do black. Create lights, point light, hit W, pull that up and out. Hit 7 on your keyboard so we can see the effect of our light. And we'll do Control D to duplicate that. One over here and maybe a little bit higher. And create light, ambient light. We'll push that one way back here, rise it up a little bit. And in our ambient light tab, we're going to decrease that to 0.1. Okay, we're going to go to our render settings. Mental ray. Come on. Okay, sorry. Mental ray is not loaded. Sorry about that. Window settings preferences, plugin manager. Just need to load up my mental ray, which isn't loaded for some reason. There we go. He's thinking about it. I'll just pause until it's loaded. All right, all done. Back to our render. There he is, mental ray, indirect lighting. I'm going to use an HDRI file for image-based lighting, so I'm going to hit create there. I'm going to set up global illumination and final gathering. We don't need caustics. I'm going to go to my quality tab, make sure ray tracing is set up, and it is. And in my comment tab, I'm going to increase the image size to HD 1080. Okay, we're going to minimize that. We're going to look for an HDRI file, and you can download those for free. Just look for free HDRI files. And I recently posted a list of websites where you can get free textures and HDR files on my Facebook page. So just check out MH Tutorials, and you'll find that. Okay. So that said, let me see Maya HDRI, and let's do one of these 23. All right, we're going to set up our render window. That looks about right. Okay, and I'll give this a go. I'll see you guys when the render is done. Okay. Right, guys. So here's our barrel. Well, it looks a little bit too pristine, if you will. What I would advise when using something like this in a game environment is to take your UVs and in Photoshop, kind of make it a little bit dirty and some grind and dirt and whatnot, just to make it a little bit more realistic. But as far as this tutorial is concerned, this is it. So hopefully it was helpful for you guys. If you got any questions, let me know. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.